I would like to talk about using improvisation as an actor. Are you curious about how to use improvisation as a tool, not only to improve the efficiency of learning your lines, but also as a way to deepen your rehearsal process? In this video, I will deep dive into the concept of improvisation and how the actor can use improvisation as a powerful tool in your rehearsal process. I'd like to begin by discussing an overview of improvisation by using an analogy. Sometimes when we think about improvisation, we think about a chaotic and wayward, messy thing that goes all over the place with no direction and no real destination. The thing about improvisation in the performing arts is that it's actually very highly structured. That's why I feel like an analogy is incredibly useful in this case. Jazz. Jazz serves as a great point of reference for what can be referred to as structured improvisation. While it may seem chaotic, jazz is actually very highly structured. Musicians stay within a set framework, which is referred to as the melodic line. And they follow this melodic line even though they are riffing around, up and down and around the melodic line. The melodic line is always referred to by the musicians as they improvise around it. The balance of freedom and structure is crucial to jazz. And it is also similar to how actors can approach improvisation in the rehearsal process. So how does an actor use improvisation effectively in the rehearsal process? Actors often fall into the habit of clinging too tightly to their lines, which can make their performance feel mechanical or quote-unquote memorized. As a way to break free from this habit, improvisation can be a valuable tool. By improvising around the lines while at the same time staying within the structure. By structure, I mean staying true to the given circumstances of the scene, the arc of the scene, in other words, the beginning, middle, and end, and staying true to your character's objective. Staying true to what your character is going after in the scene, what they need in the scene. Staying within the structure while at the same time having the freedom to explore around this structure can be very enlightening as an actor in the rehearsal process. And this also applies to the rehearsal process in auditions. So structured improvisation in rehearsal can help you free yourself from the sense of obligation to saying the line, and it can serve as a reminder that you're the character in the given circumstances and that the lines are connected to all of the things that you're trying to do. By letting go of the obligation to say the line, it does something very powerful to your brain and to your concentration and provides you with absolute freedom to say whatever you want to say and to actually embellish the moment and find new impulses and new things to say. As long as you're within the framework of the given circumstances and you're true to your character, you can go anywhere you want to go and find your way back again. And you might discover things that you weren't aware of before because your mind was fixated on, oh, I have to say this line. Improvising around the lines can open up all kinds of doors to different transitions. Inner life, allowing yourself to improvise, can also strengthen your listening in the scene. It also helps you to be in the unknown, which is one of the greatest, most liberating things that an actor can experience while they're in the scene, not knowing where it's going to go or where they're going to wind up or what impulses are going to come or how the thing that the other character says to you is going to land on your character and how it's going to make you feel. Improvising helps you trust the homework that you did on the material and the homework that you did on the character. And if you personalized it strongly enough, and if you have a belief system around the circumstances, improvising can unlock all of the things that we feel we have to hold on to for dear life. Improvising helps you to trust your process. So in terms of the audition process, if I'm coaching somebody on an audition, here's how I will introduce the improvisation into the process of learning the scene. So the steps are as follows. The first thing that we do is we read the scene together. That will include reading the stage directions and all the descriptive stuff out loud, as well as the lines. And this is just to remind the actor that the scene is not just about when you're saying your lines. Your character's involvement, moment to moment, also involves all the things that are happening around the lines and in between the lines, and when the other character is speaking as well. So we go through the scene on that level, and we go through figuring out all the information, what's happening in the circumstances, what happened before the scene starts, what are the clues about that, what's happening within the scene, what does the relationship feel like, what is the event that's happening to my character, what does that event feel like, and then the arc of the scene, what's the beginning, what's the middle, and what's the end. How does the character change and evolve in the scene? Even if it's 2 lines, your character still must have a dramatic arc. They start somewhere and they end up somewhere else. And then at the end of the scene, what is the resolution? What's the energy at the end? And where is the character going to go next? Because we never want to feel like we're just holding on because the scene is over and waiting for the director or the casting director to say cut. You want to have a feeling of momentum of where the energy is going to continue after the last line of the scene. So the first pass is really just to gather all the information, and then you're personalizing the circumstances. So the event of the scene, you're trying to find a way to personalize the event and find a connection to it. It's just finding a truth. And the second thing is personalizing the relationship of who your character's talking to. Once you have those ingredients, or just the beginning of those ingredients in place, we read the scene again, and that's where I give the actor an opportunity to use their personalization, use their choices, and find out if the choices are serving them and if they're finding a way into the character's situation and into the imaginary world of what's going on in the scene. And at that point, I will just have the actor read the lines and incorporate the stuff that were outlined in the stage directions in between and see if we can move through the story. So that helps establish the structure. This might seem early to you, but right after that second read, I'll take the leap and tell the actor, now we're going to improvise the scene. And usually there's a look of panic and, oh my God, how am I going to improvise the scene because I don't know the lines yet. But improvising right after those first couple of steps is extremely useful because it helps remind the actor that the lines are not this golden ticket into this is the only way that I'm going to be able to move through the scene. Now, of course, you have to learn your lines, but using improvisation as a tool can open up all kinds of things you might miss, and you might miss them permanently if all you do is focus on memorizing the lines. So after the improvisation, there's a couple of things that come up right away that's immediately clear. The first thing is the actor realizes that they know more of the scene than they gave themselves credit for. So that's extremely helpful. The other thing is they learned more of the scene than the lines just by themselves really indicate. So then that freedom that they found is there in their body. It's in their instrument. So we go back to the lines one more time. It's very important to go back to the lines because how the improvisation served you is going to be the clearest when you go back to the lines one more time with the intention of holding on to that freedom that you found when you were improvising. The same principles of improvisation can be used when you're getting ready for a job or getting ready to step into the rehearsal process. The thing to always keep in mind when improvising as an actor is that effective improvisation is always done within a structure. So lastly, when using jazz as an analogy for improvisation, I always, even as a coach, I always love to listen to jazz whenever I have the chance to help free my mind, and listening to structured improvisation in music is incredibly inspiring and can help you improvise as an actor in ways that you didn't even expect. So if you don't already listen to jazz, I encourage you to do so, especially when you're thinking about improvising in acting. I'm curious what your favorite jazz artist might be. Feel free to leave it down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this one. Click on the description below for links to our website as well as our free weekly newsletter. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.